Today's episode is brought to you by thedarkroom.com.
Oh, hey. Did you bring your cameras?
Okay, so Nikons? What the hell is the deal with those cameras? What makes those bodies so beautiful? To be fair, I've never really been a fan of Nikon cameras. You might have caught me speaking ill of them 1 or 2 times on this channel. And Nikon, just kidding. Nikon lenses are great. I mean, come on, the lens mount is all backwards, so let's just face it. But everyone seems to be salivating over them. I mean, my biggest engagement on that doom scrolling app Instagram was because I said I might thinking about looking into them. So naturally, when Trev gave me a booty call under the pretense of shooting some dope-ass abandoned buildings, and that I didn't even have to bring a camera along, I just had to see for myself what this not so elusive Nikon cult was all about. Plus, maybe you'd make me some punch. Even though Ohio would be very frigid this time of year, I was met with a warm welcome.
Trev knows how to treat me.
And I was met with even a warmer bed. It's like Trev really knows me.
Wow, Trev, wow. Good morning. Making some coffee. It's pour over. You want some?
Yeah, I love coffee.
I know.
Our first day of shooting would bring us into Detroit. There was an abandoned zoo that Trev had been talking up for some time now. So much so that he even took Jason there a few months prior on a trial run for our photo date. Isn't that so cute? Now, Trev is a poster child for all things Nikon. He just so happens to have a few of their bodies. A Nikon 3, a Nikon FM3a, an FM2, and a Nikon FA. So just a lot of Fs in there. So I knew I was among the master. And if anyone could convert me, it would probably be him.
And this is the first time ever that I'm going to be shooting with a Nikon.
Wait, ever?
Yeah, Nikons
Nice.
suck, so. That's right. Okay, I'm going to do cat. So I don't know where they took all the animals, but I hope they took them somewhere warmer than here. No, there's a toy.
The first thing to know about the F3 is that it's an electronically controlled camera, meaning that it takes those sweet batteries to run, but it is mechanical at 1/160th of a second.
Okay. I don't hate it yet.
The really cool thing about this camera when shooting in aperture priority mode is that it's actually a stepless shutter, meaning that you can shoot 1/12222 of a second. Maybe not that specific one, but you know, something in between. That's pretty darn dope if you ask me. And that might actually be the first time I called an automatic mode dope. I guess there's a first time for everything.
I've been in quite a number of abandoned buildings, but never have I had such inspirational quotes in them. You're never alone. And don't forget who you truly are. Found the bathroom, and it definitely looks like people had some explosive diarrheas. Eesh. Ugh, that's a little frightening.
So let's talk about the cat in the room. These cat lab shots kinda suck. I mean, it could be the fact that I was shooting willy-nilly in automatic mode, and the meter is center weighted, and also not taking into the fact that it was harsh lighting conditions. And not to mention, I had never shot this camera before. Or this film just sucks. Okay, fine. Sucks is harsh. Not as sensitive as other professional grade films. Yeah, that. I mean, look at these shots of Trev. These are probably the best of the bunch. They're pretty well exposed and have shadow detail. So what really gives when all the rest are crunchy as hell? To be fair, 320 ISO was not the right choice for this circumstance. But do you know what was a good choice? Lomo 800. Honestly, I should have started with this in the first place. Any abandoned place just begs for high ISO film. Sometimes you just live and learn, and then you get Lomo. So yeah, after looking at some of these Lomo 800 shots, I don't think it was me or the camera. Sorry, cat. Maybe 120 is better. Let's go, Nikon. While on the way to lunch, we stopped off at a few places that caught our eye and made me so glad I had color in my camera. So far today, I was only using the 28mm Voigtlander, but at this location, I decided to swap to a 16mm fisheye lens that Trev had borrowed from Main Street Photo in Bowling Green. Damn! That lens is wide. It's a vibey vibe for sure. It's a lens that has a place in time, and those things would definitely be coming up real fast. After a burger and beer, Trev and I hit the streets once more. At this point of the day, the sun put up some deuces and left while the clouds rolled in. But since this day turned so overcast, Kodak Tri-X was the natural choice to load next. Honestly, you can't go wrong with Tri-X at all. It's a beautiful black and white stock.
I'm cold. It's so cold, I couldn't get out to shoot, but Trev went out to shoot for me, so I'll just take his shots.
I'm not hating it, that's for sure. Not hating it.
It felt good in the hand, or I guess my mittens. Actually, it was pretty perfect for my mittens. I noticed that the Nikon 3's grip was fantastic for big hands like mine. Probably the most comfortable feeling camera I've held in a long time. But don't tell me like that. It was actually kind of nice being able to look through the lens, knowing what my exact framing would be. You know, it being an SLR and all. One thing that Nikon F3 has that comes in handy, well, maybe not today, but in sunny California, is a max shutter speed of 1/2000th of a second. It's definitely a nice speed to have at your disposal, usually. Like I said, maybe not for these cloudy Ohio afternoons.
I'm in his shot.
Next, Trev decided to drive me to downtown Detroit to woo me with the big city and the bright lights. He thought it might cheer me up seeing some tall buildings, being from the city and all. And he was right. Those tall buildings acted as a barrier for my soft skin against the weather.
Downtown Detroit, boo-doo-doo-wop-bop.
While I was downtown, I decided to slap that 16mm fisheye onto the camera. I thought I might bring a bit of character to the images and accentuate the scale of the structures around.
Dude, it's gonna be so cool.
The wide angle.
So wide.
I guess if I needed to list a con or two about the F3, it would be that it is fully mechanical. And maybe it's a bit on the heavy side, but that last one is me just poking fun, just poking around, seeing if I can find something. Trev and I decided to head back to his house for some much needed warmth. My toes were a bit frozen and he needed to heat them up by sitting on them. Plus that next day we'd be going to the holy grail of abandoned locations, a decommissioned school that has lived so many lives since its demise.
Hey Caleb, you want some Topo Chico?
I love sparkles.
I know.
Come on, you wanna go? I'm gonna lay at
I thought you were a cat
you.
for.
I'm not a cat.
You're not a cat? Oh, I thought you were a cat for a second.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm so happy right now.
Today we'd be going back to school, but instead of math and science, we'd be studying the art of light and shadow. A few weeks back, Trev told me about this school that he stumbled upon while searching for a film fridge. The owners lived inside this gymnasium and didn't mind if we poked around the property for some photos. Just what I love, a good permission slip to roam around the halls.
Portra 800, push one stop at 1600 with the flash could be cool. And a super wide angle lens. People ask about the cable. It's just an old speed flash sync cable. I got it for like a few dollars at a garage sale, and it's on a Nikon now. This is what dreams are made out of.
This place was something indeed. So much of something that I needed to wield 2 cameras today. Now, since I shot so much with the Nikon F3 yesterday, I thought my main driver today would be the ever so epic FM3a. People are insane for that camera. I have to say, when I put out my poll on Instagram, people said they love the F3. But I received more direct messages about the FM3a and how it saved their families' lives. I mean, I could see what. On specs, this beautiful baby is mechanical up to 1/4000th of a second. Whew, that's some crazy shit right there. I mean, think of all the times you could point your camera directly at the sun with some Portra 800 in there, and your lens can be as wide as a watermelon. I wouldn't try that though.
The second camera, the Nikon F3, is going to have 3200 in it. T-Max 3200.
What?
Trev, that's cute. He thinks I'm talking to him.
So one thing that I've come to realize after these first 2 shots is that sometimes focusing a fisheye lens is harder to do than algebra. Algebra wasn't my favorite class.
I have to say, as of right now, the F3 feels really good. Like, really, really good. I don't know, maybe you're converting me to an F3 fan.
Absolutely messed up.
This school had seen so many lives. It was a haunted house, an apartment building, and currently a film photographer's wet dream. I'm telling you, I peed myself when I first arrived. It made things awkward.
Do you think it's real?
It is, yeah.
Wow.
I am in an abandoned school right now, and you never know because they converted a lot of them to apartment units. This looks like a comfy couch to me. Oh, wow. Lockers, that's awesome. I'm taking a photo of that.
Some photos I ended up taking twice, one with the flash and one without. Mostly because I wanted to see how the addition of the light changed the overall look. In some cases, it kind of hurts more than it helps, but sometimes it did add a bit of fill.
Yeah. That was pretty fun. I like that was
Oh my god. That's hot. So sexy.
Yeah, bouncing the light did not help for this one. Now, to be honest, there were a few times while taking photos today that I missed my Leica. The Nikon was doing a great job, but sometimes you just miss your baby. Usually shooting color film in an abandoned building isn't necessary. They usually lack the pops of color to warrant it, but not for this school. Because it had been converted to some sort of apartment building, there were all sorts of interesting colors to photograph.
Reception desk with a ping pong table.
This shot of the stairwell on black and white is bang on. I love the light striking the wall, leading your eye to the doorway, thus leading your eye down the staircase into the darkness. I have to give myself an A++ on this one. So let's talk about the shutter on the FM3a. Someone definitely spent some time in the classroom for this one. The reason people love this camera so much is the hybrid shutter control. That means that the camera is both electronically controlled and at the same time has the ability to be mechanically controlled by us, the uneducated. And that's a pretty big deal. And just like the F3 in AE mode, the FM3a has a stepless shutter control. But if you think you're better than the rest of the class, you can manually change the shutter and its mechanical nature will do the rest. That is pretty genius. Now, I wonder all the students and teachers alike love this camera.
This is kind of creepy. Yeah.
Now, having carried both these cameras around the school all morning, I noticed that the FM3a is quite a bit lighter than the F3. But at the same time, the F3 shutter button and advanced lever feels so good. It's like butter. The FM3 is great, but the F3 is smooth.
Evil. Well, that's not good either. Yeah, that's pretty creepy.
Overall, I think the FM3a's meter is spot on. It did a fantastic job in these lighting conditions, inside and out. Unfortunately, I'm not a big fan of the shots that I got from the F3 when I took that T-Max at 3200 outside. Some shots, it really struggled. But I might chalk it up to me not paying attention.
Hey man, are you hungry?
Yeah, I could eat.
Dude, we could go get some barbecue here in town.
Oh my god, barbecue? I love barbecue.
I know.
Now at this point, Trev was laying it on thick with 2 C's. He really wanted to impress me before leaving the next day, so he invited me over to his family's house for Thanksgiving. His family was wonderful, and I had a great time. If this isn't courtship, I don't know what is. And you know what? It's working. And you know what else works? Getting your film developed by thedarkroom.com. The Darkroom is a traditional dip and dunk lab that develops E6, C41, and all black and white films in Trev's house. Oh no, I'm sorry, in-house, not Trev's house. They got a dope facility. I've seen it. They also offer a wide variety of print options, including true black and white prints on Ilford silver gelatin paper. All can be ordered at the same time you develop or printed later from the uploaded scans. The Darkroom makes it easy to download your scans, archive the photos, and order prints all the same place from the comfort of your own home. No need to put any pants on. Ordering online is simple and fast. They even provide prepaid shipping options for sending your film for development. So go check out thedarkroom.com or download the Darkroom mobile app to get started. At this point, I was easing into the idea of shooting with a Nikon. And mostly it was because I wasn't even thinking about my Leica at all. I was focused on taking photos, which is really the point in the first place. One really good thing about Nikons in general is that there's a lot of new lenses being made for them by Voigtlander. And there's also a lot of old ones out there as well. And when it comes to Nikon bodies, there are just so many to choose from. And they're relatively easy to fix overall, which is good for longevity. The next day, we would take it easy before I had to go home. We watched some TV, made some coffee, and got a bit of food. Now, I can't believe I'm actually gonna say this. I enjoyed shooting with these Nikons. But one thing that will be hard to get used to is the backwards lens mount. Sorry, Nikon, just you're backwards. The only camera out of the bunch that I really didn't shoot with over the weekend was the FM2. Overall, it felt very similar to the FM3a, so I didn't think I really needed to. The FM2 has a lot of the same characteristics as the FM3a. Now, after this extended weekend shooting nothing but Nikon, I have to say, I'm a fan. They've definitely grown on me, and to be fair, I don't even know why I hated them in the first place. Overall, even though the F3 isn't fully mechanical, and you know Papa don't like to play that game, it's probably my favorite out of the two cameras. It's just so smooth and joyous to shoot, even though I know I should say the FM3a, which is also a great camera and I would not turn it down. But the F3's bigger construction makes it fit in my hand better. Oh, yeah! And the FM3 is just a little bit small for me. If only they could have made an FM3 Plus and just mixed the best parts of the two. The thing that makes Nikon so special is their attention to detail that make the shooting experience rock solid. Well, maybe the cheaper ones. They're probably not the best constructed. So, I guess the big question is, have I seen the metaphorical light? Will I denounce all others and walk the way of the Nikon? Well, all I can say is, if my eBay searches are any indication, then yeah, that's a yes.